Old American world champion Shannon Miller performed beautifully in her final event, scoring a 9.912 to win the silver medal. But it was home country favorite Dina Kochikova who nailed all of her landings, particularly here in the floor, scoring a 9.9 in her last event to win the all-around gold by .057, 57 thousandths of a point over American Shannon Miller. Today, we're back at the Lennon Sport and Concert Complex for the women's gymnastics individual event finals. Hi, everyone. I'm Bart Connor, and the team competition is over, as well as the all-around. Today, we're getting ready to see the best gymnasts perform in their best events. And I'm joined, as always, by Kathy Johnson. Now, Kathy, this is really an exciting day in women's gymnastics.
It always is, Bart, because the stress of the team and individual all-around competition is behind them, and now they can just relax a little bit. Though they're still competitive, they're more accustomed to this equipment. They've been on it for 3 days. We usually see just outstanding gymnastics because they're a little bit more relaxed.
Let's talk about two of the stars of the competition, obviously, Shannon Miller and Dina Kochikova. They battle it out in the all-around. They're going to have an opportunity to battle it out here today in 4 events. They have both qualified for all 4 individual event finals.
And they're certainly the favorites still on all 4 of the event finals. But don't forget, there are outstanding gymnasts here, and they're all in their specialties. So it's going to be really close for gold, silver, and bronze.
Let's take a look at who we'll be seeing here today in the competition. There will be 8 gymnasts on each event. They qualified here from the team competition. No more than 2 gymnasts from any one country. Now, the judges in this competition require a higher level of difficulty. Gold, silver, and bronze medals will be awarded in 4 events: the vault, the uneven bars, balance beam, and the floor exercise. The first event in the 4 individual apparatus finals tonight is the women's vault competition. And the first performer, Oksana Chusovitina, from Uzbekistan. She, by the way, won the gold medal in the 1990 Goodwill Games in Seattle, the only returning medalist from those games, and she is one powerful vaulter, Kathy.
And Bart, the key to winning this individual event is having 2 different strong vaults. And Chusovitina has just that. That's her first of 2 vaults. Front pike with a half twist. It's worth a 9.9. But notice how strong her push is off the horse. Nice form. Just a little hop backwards on the landing. She's a little bit on the front side of the horse. I've actually seen her get up on top a little bit more and just blast it. But still, this is one of the strongest vaults you'll see in the competition. There you could really see how short she was on the horse.
There will be 2 vaults for Chusovitina. The scores will be averaged. After a slight delay in the scores, 9.687 for Chusovitina on her first vault. That was a maximum value of a 9.9. She will perform her second vault. Those 2 vaults will be averaged. And as you mentioned, Kathy Johnson, the 2 vaults have to be from different families, different styles of vaulting.
That's what really makes this event so difficult, because you'll see most gymnasts perform one or the other in the all-around competition in the team, and they're 2 entirely different techniques.
She came into this competition ranked 6th.
Sukahar with a full twist in laid-out position. That's also worth a 9.9. Now, there is an advantage to the gymnast who performs 2 10-0 vaults, but still they must be performed perfectly to win.
She certainly nailed this one, didn't she?
This is a difficult vault to do. Even though it's been done for quite a long time. Mary Lou Retton performed it in the Olympic Games in 1984 to win her gold medal in the all-around. But to this day, it's one of the more difficult vaults because it requires so much power. Most of the gymnasts now are doing the round-up entry vault, which gives many gymnasts power they don't have in a traditional vault.
We talked earlier about Chusovitina's style, and her power really reminisces of Mary Lou Retton, who also went out of the frame when she did her powerful Sukahara-style vault.
You can see here she really gets on top of the horse, which is exactly what you need to do for the timing of the push. And she gets great distance from the horse.
9.706 the score for Chusovitina on her second vault. They will take the average of those 2 for her total here. Grushkova. This is Kochetkova, Dina Kochetkova, the Goodwill Games all-around champion.
Very nicely done, and I have to tell you, I was nervous for her. She could not get this down in the 30-second warm-up. She was very upset about that. In fact, she crashed on one. Certainly a safe landing, but it gave her her worries going into the competition. She could not get her hands on the horse, but now you can see she's right up on top, does the full twist. This is worth a 9.8 in the Coda point. And I know her heart was pounding right here. Just get your hands on, get your hands on. She's a little short on the front end of the horse, but so much better than in the 30-second warm-up. She's got to be pleased. See, right there you can see, right on the front end.
Barely got her hands on.
She missed it entirely in the warm-ups.
9.8 was her score in the preliminary competition. No scores carry over here. The superior judge, Marilyn Cross, trying to get the computer system organized. 9.60 was the score for Kochetkova on her first vault. 9.696 the average for Chusovitina. That's the score to beat at this point.
This is the vault she normally performs in the all-around competition. She's much more comfortable with it, as you can see. Answering front pike with a half twist.
If she were to score more than a 9.792, she could take the lead here over Chusovitina.
This is a very strong vault for her. Beautiful height, good distance, and she's so great at the landing. Was really the key to her success in the all-around competition, is the fact that she could stick almost every single landing in the competition. And when you're winning by thousandths of a point, that counts.
Third in the all-around at the World Championships behind Shannon Miller, but she got the gold in the all-around here. 9.693, the second score for Kochetkova. The third vaulter here in the individual event finals will be Lilia Podkopaeva from Ukraine. The average for Kochetkova was a 9.646 in second behind Chusovitina.
Watch this vault. Very few gymnasts perform this vault as well. Her technique on this vault really is superb. The most impressive part of the vault is her perfectly straight body line and the timing of the push right here off the horse. And she's completely straight, locked out in that position.
No one does it that well.
That's a difficult landing, and she does it remarkably well, Bart.
How do you explain, all the young ladies had difficulty with the landing, she seems to nail it. It's a good technique, isn't it? 9.862, the score for the first vault for Podkopaeva.
And she has two very dynamic vaults. Look at that for the second vault. This is how you win a vault competition. That vault is worth a 9.9, just like the previous one. Well, actually, the previous one was worth a 10. So she has a 10.0 vault and a 9.9 vault of maximum values. That's superb going into event finals. And she does the vault so technically perfect and maintains gorgeous form throughout, keeping her legs perfectly together.
It's really one of her trademarks. All the apparatus, she uses incredible form and technique. Podkopaeva. Shannon Miller will be vaulting shortly for the United States.
The 1994 Goodwill Games are brought to you
Here at the Goodwill Games, Shannon Miller. The score, by the way, for Podkopaeva on her second vault was a 9.831, giving her an average of 9.846. That vaults her into first place.
Shannon's performing a Yurchenko vault, the roundup entry vault for her first one. And it's a laid-out Arabian front somersault. And what makes the vault so difficult and why it has such a high rating is because it's so difficult to land and to maintain that perfectly straight body position in the air.
Shannon has qualified several times for the finals at major international events on the vault and has really struggled. She did win a medal in '93, but otherwise she's been 6th, 7th, and 8th place because she doesn't really have two strong vaults, and I think we'll see evidence of that today. Her first vault is terrific, her second vault is a little shaky.
It'll have to rely a little bit on luck, Bart, the second vault, but this one is great. Just a step on the landing. We've seen several gymnasts perform this vault. We know how difficult it is to land, and we've seen one good landing so far, Podkopayeva.
Steve Newell, Shannon's coach.
This is great technique, though, right up on top of the horse. Again, look how close her legs are together. She almost lands with her feet perfectly together. Just unfortunately has to take that step.
Yesterday in an interview, Shannon Miller said the fact that she's taller and slightly heavier has helped her, and perhaps this is an event where that shows.
Absolutely. It gives her a little bit more power, a little bit more action off the board.
Being taller and slightly heavier is a disadvantage on nearly every event except maybe the vault. 9.837 the score for Shannon Miller on her first vault out of a maximum of 10. Now this second vault, this is going to be interesting. She's warming up a rather unusual vault, something she tried at the World Championships in Australia and had major difficulties with.
It's similar to the vault we just saw, minus the round-off entry.
If she would score more than a 9.855, she could go ahead of Chusovitina of Podkopayeva.
The good news is this vault is worth a 10. The bad news is it's a little risky for her, but she did it. Great. Oh, look at the smile on her face. It didn't work that well in Australia, so she's really excited about this. Notice it is the same vault, per se. Once she leaves the horse, it's exactly like the previous vault. She doesn't quite stay in that laid-out position, so that'll be a slight deduction. And she took the step, but she is thrilled to be on her feet. It's a tough vault. It takes so much more power to do this traditional entry vault without the round-off. Because keep in mind that round-off gives you additional power into the horse, and she has to generate this power all by herself. That's great.
Shannon Miller will be pleased with that one. The score for the second vault of Shannon Miller, 9.812. Her average, a 9.824, which puts her in second place right now behind Podkopayeva. Now from Romania, this is Ana Maria Bican, and she's a very powerful vaulter, Kathy.
This first vault's worth a 10.0. Double twisting, Yurchenko.
What a landing.
Oh, the amazing thing in the code of points, the vault we just saw Shannon perform had a half twist in it, and though the landing is extremely difficult, 1.5 more twists in this vault, yet it's worth the same.
Doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you?
The only thing that is easier about this vault is if you get around, which is the hard part, you can then see the ground, and it's a little easier to come up with a great landing. But to learn the vault is incredibly difficult, Bart. It takes extraordinary technique because there's so much that needs to happen before the ground comes up and hits you, and it comes fast.
$9.825 the score for Ana Maria Bican on her first vault. Could have been a little higher. I thought she might score much higher on that vault as well. Perfect technique and an excellent landing. That means if she were to score a 9.687, more than a 9.687, she could move into the lead here. Podkopayeva still holds the lead.
Unfortunately, that's a weaker vault. She did it well, but it's only worth a 9.8, so that puts her at a slight advantage before the judges even begin to take deductions.
She said this is her favorite event. Is it perhaps because she has so much power here?
Absolutely. I'd love the event, too, if I had that much power. Good landing again.
9.731 the score on the second vault for Ana Maria Bican from Romania. Svetlana Korkina, silver medalist, as you see here at World Championships this year on the vault. And Kathy, we were so impressed. She's 5 feet 4 inches tall, was one of the favorites in the all-around, had a mistake on the balance beam, and wasn't able to compete in the all-around session. So perhaps today she is here for a little revenge. She could win a medal here.
This vault's worth a 10, and it's outrageous. A lot of twisting, a lot of flipping.
Interestingly enough, we've talked about the fact that she's 5 feet 4, even taller than Svetlana Boginskaya. Notice the technique on the landing. She even used Boginskaya's 1 foot in front of the other technique to nail the landing.
Add a little elegance to the vault. It's a round-off entry vault. She does a half twist onto the horse, half twist off, and a back pike somersault.
Pretty complicated.
Very complex, Bart. But she does it so well. It requires just an amazing timing and knowing exactly where the horse is so that you can block off and get all of that done in the afterflight.
9.862 the score for Horkina on her first vault. Keep in mind, first place right now, Podkopaeva. More than a 9.83 on the second vault would give Horkina the gold. She is the last performer of 8 here in the finals.
Bart, you look at her body, you would never figure her to be a world-class gymnast. It'd be like looking at Muggsy Bogues out on the street and assuming he's a great NBA player. She's so tall and she handles it unbelievably well. That is a very difficult vault for a tall gymnast. It's basically the same vault she performed minus the round-off, just like Shannon Miller did. She just took away the round-off, did a traditional entry facing forward, and then did that half twist back pike out.
We've talked about how tall Shannon Miller's getting. She's not quite 5 feet tall yet. 5'4", and Horkina doesn't seem to struggle with that lankiness. .712 the score for the second vault. So as you see there, a 9.787 is the average of these two vaults. That will put her in third place. So our final results look like this. Lilia Podkopaeva gets the gold for Ukraine. Shannon Miller, her first medal of these Goodwill Games, a silver on the vault. Svetlana Horkina gets the bronze, just bouncing Anna Maria Bican out of that position with her final vault. Golds already at these Goodwill Games, one with the team, one with the all-around. This is one of her best events, Kathy.
Bart, she has so much physical strength that it makes this event so easy and effortless. She's able to do the most difficult skill with ease.
She qualified second, coming in here with a 9.825.
Judges look for a high level of difficulty, especially in the event finals, and there's an example of it. Each transition down to low bar, it's best to end right in that handstand position. She has a huge dismount, double layout. Oh. She almost took a really big hop back and she caught herself, but still gave up a little hop. I think we have to remember that these gymnasts have competed. This is the third day in a row. They are a little bit tired. Normally there's a day separating the days of competition, and boy, she fought for the landing there.
9.787 the score for Dina Kochikova. That gives her first place, but not for long. There's some wonderful routines to come along now. Yelena Piskun now from Belarus, getting ready to perform on the uneven bars.
She didn't have a lot of luck on the vault, but she's very strong here as well. Beautiful release moves, and look at the transition right to handstand.
Nice.
Tiny bit off on that full over, but probably won't even be a deduction. It's hard to tell what the judges will see exactly from the side, which is where they sit. But look at the dismount. Very nice dismount. Great landing. As I said, really the only thing I saw was that full over the bar. She was a tiny bit off, but we were looking at it from the end. This is the angle the judges see it from. And as you can see, they got a great look at that release move and the transition to a handstand on low bar. Requires so much strength, agility on the uneven bars, and knowing exactly where you are so you can come back to that bar.
High-flying acrobatics, and this dismount was the landing I think that she was looking for.
This was gorgeous, Bart. It's what you need in the individual event finals. You just put an exclamation mark, and that's the last thing the judges see. It certainly helps.
And we'll wait for her score. Remember, Shannon Miller is yet to come. personable 16-year-old, a 9.787. That ties her for first place with Kochakova for the time being. Svetlana Horkina now on the uneven bar. She qualified first coming into the finals here. This is a spectacular routine.
She never ceases to amaze me. Beautiful height and amplitude. Now watch this. This is the best part. Half, then full, layout down to the low bar. And just keeps right on going. That's a great transition. Especially when the judges are used to seeing the same old thing over and over, no matter how well it's done. They love to be awakened by some new, outrageous skills. So full twisting double back dismount, full on the end. Great routine.
She already has a gold in the team competition with Russia and a bronze in the vault, the first event today.
Well, I hope there are a lot of tall gymnasts out there watching, or gymnasts who think they're going to grow, and they can go, wow, you know what, I can still do this. Look at that. Look at the grip strength required and knowing exactly where the bar is. It's so intricate, and your hands have to be so quick.
9.862, the score for Svetlana Horkina. That puts her in first place. Now from Romania, this is Ana Maria Bican. Sixth place in the all-around here. She was not a real threat here on the uneven bars, the lowest qualifier coming into the finals.
Quite often, Bart, it's just prestigious to be in the finals. She's not considered a favorite here. But you never know. If people don't stick their dismounts and hit everything, you've still got a shot at a medal. She has a solid routine. Nothing spectacular, but look at great form, adequate height on the release moves.
Consistency has been a trademark for the Romanians, and she had 2 release moves in this routine.
Where they are
she can stick the dismount.
Where they're spectacular is over on beam and floor. But this is certainly a nice, solid routine. I'm sure she would have liked to stuck the landing, but something to be happy with.
Consistent, and yet nothing really unusual on this event. Perhaps this is the one event where the Romanians are not challenging the best in the world, like the Chinese, some of the Russian athletes, and even some of the Americans.
One thing I do like, the good form. She should be a little higher on these release moves to really make it spectacular, especially if you don't have an unusual move in the routine to really get the judges' attention, like we saw from Horkina. Dismounts a double layout. She gets good bonus points here. But she just needed to come up with a little better landing. She actually does like a pike open layout. Many of the gymnasts are performing that.
9.712, the score for Ana Maria Bican. Coming up in our women's individual event finals gymnastics competition, more with Shannon Miller here at the Goodwill Games. The score to beat at this point is Svetlana Horkina, 9.862. This is Shannon Miller. She's been the world champion on the bars and a silver medalist at the Olympics in Barcelona.
Bart, she has a routine designed to win. It's a great routine. The only difficulty she might have will be the dismount. She's been working hard all week to get it, but this is the best part. Full over the bar, a beautiful release move.
And this combination is spectacular.
Watch the turn here. It's a 1.5 turn, transition to low bar.
Well done.
She's got one more release move, and then she needs to prepare for the dismount, and it's going to take everything she has.
In the warm-up, she didn't even go for it.
She's been taking a big step on the landing. Whoa, she pulled it through. That's the best she's done it all week.
And you can see that on her face.
She's just got to be so happy with herself.
Gotta go.
Steve Nuno loves it. Peggy Liddick, her coaches, very pleased with Shannon, who continues to come up with great performances as this week goes on here.
This is beautiful. Clear hip with a half turn and then a full turn down, and she straddles back to a handstand on low. Beautiful work. And as I said, the routine was right there. We had no doubt. Just a little nervous for her on the dismount because she's been struggling some with it.
The key was the dismount.
And she really had to drive into it and keep pulling her chest around. You can see she had to pike over a little bit, and her knees were a tiny bit bent. But it's the best we've seen all week.
Score for Shannon Miller at 9.85, so it is not enough to take the lead over Svetlana Horkina. She's short by 12 1/1000ths of a point. Now from Uzbekistan, Oksana Chusovitina. As you see, she needs a big score for a medal here, for a gold medal. It's unlikely. It's a terrific routine, but I don't believe it's as complex as some of the ones we've just seen.
Not nearly as complex and not designed as pleasing to the eye as that of Horkina's and Miller.
This is a great combination.
This is the best part. She's done that for quite a while now and obviously does it so well. Like, that skill right there really should go to a handstand.
Rather weak transition to the low bar. But when she's on the high bar, it's really something else.
Full twisting double back and a great landing. Just wasn't as spectacular. You like to see the release moves bigger. You want to see everything right to handstand.
If she scores more than a 9.787, she could move into the bronze medal range.
These are beautiful, though. She goes right into that real deep pike, but right there should have gone to handstand. The dismounts are always exciting on the uneven bars, usually very complex. This is a double back with a full twist. Sure looks easier in slow motion.
So the score 9.775 for Chusovitina will put her in 5th place. And there's your winner, Svetlana Horkina from Russia, to go with her gold in the team competition and her bronze in the vault. She wins the gold in the uneven bars with a 9.862. Shannon Miller, by just 12 1/1000ths of a point, will earn the silver on the bars. So here are your final results. Horkina the gold, Miller the silver. Dina Kochakova, the all-around champion and winner along with the Russian team, gets the bronze, tied with Yelena Piskun.
We are through 2 disciplines of the individual apparatus, and Fred, one thing is abundantly clear. The Russians keep coming at you in waves. Now it's Svetlana Horkina.
That's right, but there are still 2 more events in which Shannon Miller, who has 2 silver medals, can possibly come up gold, the floor and the beam, and we'll get to that later. Right?
Yeah, the beam is her strength. It wasn't in the qualifying, but she could pull it out. If anybody could rise to an occasion, it's her.
More gymnastics to
Games were in the 3rd of 9 days of exciting gymnastics competition here at the Lennon Sport and Concert Complex. I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson. We're getting ready now for the balance beam event finals where American Shannon Miller is the reigning world champion. Our first performer from Romania, Ana Maria Bican. She was the 2nd qualifier coming into these finals on the beam. The Romanians traditionally are very solid here.
It's something you can usually count on in competition. In a sport that anything can happen. It's hard to say, but watch this pass. 4 elements make up this pass with 2 layouts joined by back handsprings. Very complex.
The best team for the Romanians is back home training in Deva. They have the World Championships coming up later this year. Unusual that there are 2 World Championships in 1 year.
Bart, that really shows the strength of their program. This is a very strong team, finishing 2nd in the team competition. Shows the depth of their program.
The first World Championship was a few months ago in Australia. The next World Championship will be in November in Dortmund.
Her dismount sequence. She'll tumble down the beam with 2 back handsprings. Nice power, full twisting double back, great landing. It just might come down to the landings. It'll be the battle of the dismounts.
She added the full twisting double back today, and you can see the excitement from her coaches and teammates. As we mentioned, the judges require a higher level of difficulty in the event finals today, and she sure poured it on here.
This is the only balance check in the routine, and as you can see, it was a minor one. Very nice technique on the 2 back handsprings. Very high on full twisting double back. We'll see several of those in the competition.
9.65 the score for Anna Maria Buchanan. A couple of wobbles, and of course she went up first. It's difficult to get a good score there.
It was also only out of a 9.9. Remember, they need a higher level of difficulty, and the judges are being very strict in giving credit to these skills.
Already the winner of the gold, the team and the all-around, and a bronze on the bars, Dina Kochakova.
She has several skills like that in her routine. In fact, later in the routine, she will do that exact same full twist and come down on her feet. This is the first competition we've ever seen that in. Watch these layout step-outs, how floaty they are. Oh, no, she got a little bit off in the air. That could be the difference of a medal.
She's coached, by the way, by a young lady we met 8 years ago when we came to the first Goodwill Games. Remember Yelena Shevchenko?
There's that full twisting back handspring. It's always exciting to see a new move in women's gymnastics. When you see all it takes to drop you from medal contention, a slight little arm movement or a balance break, it's amazing. Anybody can ever win them. Very nice routine, but that one little break could be the difference depending on how everyone else competes. Keep in mind, Shannon Miller won silver medals just by taking a step on her vault and, bending her legs just the tiniest bit on bars, so it doesn't take much. She was a little off. You could see right when her hips turned when she was up in the air, and that was it.
And the score for Dina Kochakova, 9.65. That ties her for the lead with Anna Maria Buchanan from Romania. This is Angela Gimpu from Romania. Oh.
Balance check right at the beginning. It's always frustrating, especially in the event finals when you know it's going to be so close. Starting value score is so important in determining the final score.
She adjusted that pass, didn't she?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I think she needed that next layout for her bonus points. Most of the gymnasts have come out of a 9.9, so the gymnast who can get a 10-0 routine in terms of its value.
She did it again. Amazing.
That was smart. The only problem she might have is going overtime. She's going to have to make some adjustments and think fast.
Hard to believe that she stepped back up and did the whole series again, the second time perfectly.
She needed credit for the combination, so it's not like you can just jump up and do another layout. She was getting bonus by virtue of the combination.
You notice that her right ankle is wrapped there. She was scheduled to compete in the vault competition here, but decided to lay out and rest her ankle to be ready for the beat.
She's okay with time. She has 10 seconds to dismount after that. No. Oh, no. Unfortunately, when you change your routine while you're up there, this is a tough event in terms of concentration, and you got to hand it to her. for adding the combination again because she needed it. But then it's hard to keep the concentration. Here's where she missed. She was very much off. Actually, no, this was the one that she made. Actually, she was a little off going into it, but she knew she needed to throw it this time. The dismount, highly difficult. The triple twist, you don't see this dismount very often, and this is why it's so hard to get it all the way around.
9.175, a disappointment for Angelique Hinton from Romania. Now for the United States, Shannon Miller, the world champion on this event, the most decorated gymnast in the history of American gymnastics. All she needs is more than a 9.65. That should be no problem for Shannon Miller.
It will be most important that she hit all her elements. She added back her difficult mount. She had taken that out for the team and all-around competition. But she needed it here in the event finals. And she must hit all of these elements. Right to handstand.
She has been getting better and better all week long here. She struggled in the first few days of practice, but as the competition has gone on, she seems to gain confidence and composure.
This is the event she can win. She had slight bobbles on this pass right here in both the team and all around. Let's see what happens here.
Oh, she's out.
Perfect. And another critical part is right here. It's called the Miller. It's her move. Get it to handstand. I'm not sure if she needed that for bonus. We'll have to see what the base score, the starting value score is. You have to understand they don't just get a deduction for the break in balance, but if it's too big a deduction, they don't get credit. If it's an element they need for bonus points. Here's crucial move. Very well done.
Just so exciting to see Shannon Miller come alive here. Steve Nuno knows it.
Good job.
Isn't she just impressing you more and more with her grit and her will as a competitor?
Without question. This is what's most impressive about an athlete. We can all admire athletes who win with their talent and their hard work, but when one continues to put it out there and compete against the best year after year, that's when you really earn the respect. And she made the correction from the last 2 days and just was not going to give anything up here. This was really the only, I don't even want to call it a break. It's her move, so she can almost do it any way she wants. It should have been, though, right to a handstand for it to be perfect. And this is a highly difficult dismount, and she still performs it very well. And as you said, it's gotten better all week long. Just a tiny hop.
So we'll wait for her score. All she needs is just a little bit better than a 9.65 to take the lead. Shannon Miller.
We'll have time to watch her, and then we'll go. Okay?
7.5. Shannon Miller sets the standard. That's the score to beat now. Now from Belarus, Yelena Piskun. She won a bronze on the bars here so far. Kathy Johnson, Yelena may not have the polish of someone like Shannon Miller, but she sure doesn't hold back on the tricks.
She's got the most difficulty in this routine, but it also makes it very risky.
Oh.
Because it doesn't matter how hard the routine is. If you have a bobble like that, the deduction is taken. She performs, and she's one of the only gymnasts to do so, a full twist on the beam.
Oh.
And it's really hard to land, especially when one foot flips off the beam and you have to pull it back on. She stayed very cool on that. Any gymnast would have panicked. Very nice double pike. You see a lot of full twisting double backs. You see them in tuck, but it's so pretty to see that piked position, and it's hard to land. This, unfortunately, will probably be the difference of a medal. That's a fairly large balance break, and it will be probably 3/10 of a point. Maybe they'll be nice and go 2 to 2.5 tenths. But this is tough. Slightly missed that foot, but she brought it right back on. It'll still be a slight deduction now. Only thing that would make this better is if her legs were perfectly together all the way around, and that's being picky.
So the score 9.362 for Yelena Piskun is not enough to move her up into the medal rankings. Shannon Miller holds on to first. Anna Maria Bican and Dina Kochikova are tied for the silver at this point. Now up from Spain, this is Monica Martin. She has a rather unusual mount. She's the national champion from Spain.
It's a half twist onto the beam to a handstand or through a handstand, and then a back hip circle, a move you would normally see on the uneven bars at the beginning level, but on that balance beam it's very difficult. She had trouble with this pass in the warm-up just prior to competition. See if she can get it straight. She was way off to the side. There you go. Oh, no. Oh. She saved the fall, but that's a big deduction. Neighborhood of 3 to 4 tenths. And unfortunately, then you don't get the credit for the difficulty in terms of bonus. She's the only gymnast of her country to make the finals, and she's made 2 event finals. 2 back handsprings to a double back. Just made it, I think, under that time. It's nice to see a gymnast come back from a disastrous warm-up, and it was disastrous. She missed this way off to the side. Make the correction under pressure when you're most nervous. And the pass she didn't have trouble with, unfortunately, just didn't attack the landing because she was not that far off. But if she felt slightly off, she panicked instead of just locking in and going for it. Watch where she takes off for the dismount. It scared me all week, but finally I've gotten used to it. She's about 1.5 feet from the end of the beam, but she's so powerful she just jumps hard enough and gets it way out there.
9.162 the score for Monica Martin. 6th place. The next performer is perhaps the only gymnast left in the competition who has a chance to unseed Shannon Miller in the top spot, Oksana Pavlyushina. She's 15 years old from Moscow.
And the key, Bart, will be the starting value of the routine. Shannon has been the only gymnast so far to have a starting value of 10. Everyone else is in the neighborhood of 9.7 to 9.9. That's a big difference. This is a key pass. 3 layout step outs.
Coming into this competition, we expected great things from Pavlyushina. Earlier in the week, she had a fever, and she really hasn't lived up to the expectations that we had for her here.
She did very well in the team competition, but in the all-around, it seemed to fall apart a little for her. Interesting move. As I said earlier, it's nice to see just a change, something out of the ordinary.
perhaps one of the most complete gymnasts in the competition, with elegant dance and plenty of power for the acrobatic movements.
Speaking of power, watch the dismount. Full twisting double back.
Oh.
Wow. That's tough.
That's like saying to Shannon Miller and the rest of the competitors, so there.
I'll see your dismount and I'll raise you with mine. Front tuck on, the same mount we saw from Shannon Miller, except Fabrichnova went right into a jump, trying to fulfill one of her requirements of combining acrobatic and dance elements. This was beautiful. 3 layout step outs. And she was not about to give up anything.
It's like a dart going into a dartboard. Boom. And she's not moving. .9.8 is the score for Oksana Fabrichnova. Not enough to unseat Shannon Miller, who should get the gold here. There's one performer to go from the United States, Mariana Webster. She has a chance at a medal. It's unlikely that it could be a gold. Here is Mariana Webster.
A special note, and I said it was going to come down to bonus points and starting value. Fabrichnova was only scored from a 9.9. She was missing some little requirement, either an extra difficult element for the bonus points or a special requirement on the balance beam, and that makes a huge difference, Bart.
Mariana Webster had a great competition in the team round here. She has a really unusual mount.
I love this mount. Half on,
oh.
She goes right to that handstand.
That's a gutsy move right at the start. No room for error.
Two layout step outs right here. They were perfect in the warm-ups. I think she wants a medal.
She was doing so well in the all-around competition yesterday until the final event. Had a fall on the floor. Dropped her from perhaps a top 10 position to 15th out of 16 performers here. I asked her about her performance today, and she said, well, I hope I can redeem myself. For all of these Americans, except Shannon Miller, this is their first major international event. I don't think anyone's talking about redeeming anything.
They did a superb job, especially considering it was such a big meet for them, and they had to really handle a lot of nerves. There you go. I tell you, she really wants a big score here. She's not giving anything up. So aggressive on every element.
Keep in mind, anything more than a 9.65 will move her into the bronze medal range.
Beautiful mount. She had to work on that. She was a tiny bit under-rotated, but she just went right into that split position, was able to show it off. And the dismount. Watch her look for this landing. Eyes right there, getting sight of the floor. And that's work.
So with a score of 9.625, just by 25 one-thousandths of a point, Mariana Webster will not get a bronze medal. She'll earn 5th place. Shannon Miller will get the gold. Here are the final results. Shannon Miller, the gold, her first gold of these Goodwill Games. Oksana Fabrichnova, the silver. Anna Maria Bican and Dina Kochekova will tie for the bronze. Coming up, the floor exercise featuring Shannon Miller. Exercise final, Svetlana Horkina. The Russians were really the class of the team competition here, weren't they?
She was so beautiful on every single event. She has elegance, even on the uneven bars, even over at the vault. But obviously, here on the floor exercise, she has a chance to really show off. Not just her elegance, but her power as well. Oh, no, she went out of bounds.
Going out of bounds is a 1/10 of a point deduction in addition to the execution error for stepping there. individual gold on the bars and a bronze on the vault today. For those of you at home who are wondering, that floor exercise mat is pink. Do not adjust your television set.
I love her eye contact. So few gymnasts are able to do that. And she looks right out to the audience, or to the judges. She shows amazing tumbling ability. A triple twist here. What a shame that she stepped out of bounds. That is a gorgeous routine, combining great tumbling and lovely choreography. She almost stayed in bounds here. Now, because she's so tall, she has to take much smaller steps on her run. And look at this, she's right in the corner. If she could just glue her feet right where they are. Oh, and she was trying to. She had them just on the line and then stumbled back.
Score for Svetlana Horkina, 9.737. Now from Ukraine, Lilia Podkopaeva. She has a gold in the vault today, a silver in the team, and this is really a lovely routine. I know you like this style and power, Kathy Johnson.
Absolutely. This is just a great event finals on the floor exercise. All the styles are so different.
This opening tumbling run is unusual. It's front tumbling, a double front at the end of this run.
That is amazing. She consistently makes that landing. Just in case you weren't impressed with her front tumbling, watch this. Front layout right to a front with a full twist. It is hot in here.
The first two tumbling runs have shown her expertise in front tumbling, but she has outstanding back tumbling as well.
She needs a perfect landing here for a shot at a medal and maybe even gold. She's right in there.
What a great routine. The tumbling is terrific, the dance and the choreography is outstanding. It's just a pleasure to watch this.
Wouldn't you like to be able to do this? Double front. She knows exactly where she is. Just opens right out. Very difficult technique in front tumbling. Even on this pass, where seemingly it's just a front somersault, yet it's in laid out position, and the timing to punch right into the next somersault with a full twist is difficult.
Score at 9.887 for Lilia Podkopaeva. The judges loved it. That's the standard to beat now. Up on the floor now from Ukraine, Irina Bulakova. She's replacing her teammate, Niznik, who was scheduled to compete here, but withdrew due to an injury.
Entirely different types of routines. I'm sure it makes it harder for the judges to compare the styles. and the strength of each gymnast. Difficult finish of the routine.
It's interesting, she chose rock and roll music and yet really didn't choreograph the exercise to go anywhere near what the music was dictating. She seemed to use it as background music and just do a couple of big tumbling passes.
That's the difference between hers and Horkina's and Podkopayeva's. Not a complete performance. Certainly a solid routine. With nice difficulty. And she uses the entire floor. You'll notice when she starts her routine, her tumbling, she is right in that corner, in fact, on the line. And that's allowed. You just can't go over the line. She lands very close.
9.587, the score for Irina Bulakova.
That was out of a 9.8 starting value score, which is why the score is somewhat lower.
Next up on the floor, from Uzbekistan, this is Oksana Chusovitina. 19 years old. You don't see very many 19-year-olds competing at this level in women's gymnastics. Many of them are in and out of the sport by 17, 18 years old.
When I was competing at that age, I thought as a joke I might walk out on the floor with a cane and a bottle of Geritol.
Wait till you see this opening tumbling run. It's a laid-out double back.
She just has something extra that many gymnasts were not born with. Extra spring somewhere, and it's amazing to see her get off the floor. Really is perfect music for her. She's not that much of a dancer per se, but the music is just powerful and goes to her tumbling. Watch how she finishes with the music. Perfect. That's the best part of the routine to me. I really like that finish. And of course, the powerful tumbling in the beginning. Always fun to watch. She gets so much lift into this double layout. And even an extra lift into the second somersault. Beautiful. Tumbles right back out of it. High double twist. Punches right forward into a front toe. She's springy. This was gorgeous, and it just fit the music perfectly.
There would be a press conference in the press conference.
And the score, 9.862 for Chusovitina. That puts her in second place for the moment. In of the Goodwill Games in the all-around, Kochekova.
And this music fits her perfectly.
Winner of 2 gold and 2 bronze medals so far here at the Goodwill Games.
And she clinched one of those on this event, and it was by virtue of her amazing tumbling ability.
You've said it before, but it is worth reiterating. Doesn't she remind you a lot of American Julianne McNamara?
Every time I see her, I think of Julianne, especially when Julianne was young and first on the scene.
Julianne, of course, the gold medalist in the Olympics on the uneven bars in 1984.
This is how she won the all-around. She did this final tumbling pass and just stuck it cold. Oh, we'll see if it does it here.
She needs more than a 9.887 to move into the lead. It's going to be close.
There were only 2 9.9 plus scores given yesterday in the all-around competition for floor, and it was to Kochikova and Shannon Miller. Very nice landing. I love the way she does the full twist without grabbing her legs and then just pulls it over. She's so strong.
9.925 for Kochikova. That bumps her into first place over Podkopaeva and Chusovitina. Interesting point, Kathy Johnson. We just got news. There was a judges' conference on Mariana Webster's score on the balance beam. They raised her score to a 9.725, which means she gets the bronze medal here at the Goodwill Games on the balance beam.
Bart, and the reason they raised it was she had enough difficulty for it to be scored out of a 9.9. They missed that, so they started out of a 9.8 once they put that tenth of a point back.
Hard to believe we've had confusion with scores here at the Goodwill Games.
This is where she had trouble and all around. Oh, and that was beautiful. That's the best I've ever seen her do it.
That's where she said she wanted to redeem herself, and she did. I'll bet you hearing the news about the bronze medal on the balance beam certainly didn't hurt.
Regardless of what she goes on to accomplish in this sport, she will never forget this moment. No one ever forgets their first major international competition.
And particularly because of the controversy. You were sure that she was fifth after the scores were changed. She gets the bronze.
All she needs to do is carry over that energy that she came on the floor with on this final tumbling run. What a great experience for this young gymnast. I think she's going to be smiling all the way back home.
The young American team, of course, included Sonny Meduna, Mariana Webster, as you saw there, Jenny Thompson, just 13 years old from the United States, as well as, of course, Shannon Miller. Great experience for these young ladies. Not the A team from the United States, but a strong team.
Look at her face here. She is pushing so hard. She came up short and all around, and she just said to herself, there is no way she's going to do that again. And she pulled. And I know what it's like to pull like that to get your feet around. I'm going to check here just to make sure she didn't step out of bounds. Hard to see from this angle. I didn't see a red light go on at the time.
It looks like her heel was over the line. It's hard to tell, as you said. But the light did not come on, which means the judges wouldn't be taking the deduction. And the score for Mariana Webster, a 9.362. We will be back with more gymnastics here at the Goodwill Games, including Shannon Miller in her final performance. Now, this is Jin Yu, one of the young performers from China to come here. They did not do well at all, very inconsistent in team and all-around competitions.
just like Mariana Webster, she really doesn't have the level of difficulty needed for the event finals on this event. Mariana had a start value of 9.7.
Part of the fact was due to the fact that they did deduct for her stepping out of bounds. That's why her score is lower than we might have thought.
It was an additional 1/10 of a point off, so she actually started from a 9.6, so that was a great score.
Jin Yu from China. I loved it on her bio here. She wrote, her goal in life is to be a rich person. Good for her.
This is not a real strong pass in terms of difficulty. And that's what's going to hurt her in this event. Her presentation was beautiful. Nice arm movement, nice form. It's really going to hurt her not to have a high level of difficulty and the power behind her tumbling.
We get a look at Steve Nuno there giving a few last-minute instructions to Shannon Miller. It's only fitting here in the women's event finals that the final performer of these 3 days of competition will be the queen of gymnastics from Edmond, Oklahoma, Shannon Miller. She trains 7 hours a day. I don't think people realize how much time these young ladies spend in the gym.
And Shannon is certainly one of the hardest working gymnasts we've ever seen.
4.0 student, great representative of the sport of gymnastics. Waiting on the score for Jin Yu from China. You talk about Shannon Miller's reign at the top of gymnastics. Normally, a young gymnast gets 1.5 to 2 years near the top, like Mary Lou Retton or even Kim Zmeskal. 1.5 to 2 years is the maximum. Here, Shannon Miller is going on 3 years of being near the top of the world in gymnastics. That's nearly a record. 9.537 is the score for Jin Yu on the floor. Will not win her any medals here today. There is one medal yet to be earned, perhaps, for Shannon Miller. She can do it on the floor. She had a 9.95 in the team competition. But the judges in the finals here are requiring a higher level of difficulty.
This is her toughest pass. Whip back through to a full twisting double back. You can see she's really attacking the landing. She knows how important that is.
This next pass is really lovely, the way she combines the front and the back tumbling. Maybe not the most difficult pass, but a beautiful combination.
Another front tumbling pass. She's really using the coda points to her advantage. She gets bonus points for these. Lovely, an entirely different type of performance by Shannon Miller compared to Kochikova, who she is trying to surpass here in the floor final.
The score to beat is a 9.925.
Beautiful.
Shannon has to be proud of that performance, but it's in the hands of the judges now.
It will definitely be a medal, but I must say here, regardless of the color of any of her medals here, she has been victorious. It doesn't matter, gold, silver, or bronze. So much to admire. Here's that pass you like so much, Bart, the 1.5 twist. Just an elegant layout step out at the end.
Sometimes the simple things can look so lovely, even more interesting than some of the complex moves. We've seen this routine for really the last 3 years at every major international competition. Kathy Johnson, you said she's working on a new routine. We may see that later this year.
It's about time to see a new routine. So this one is so lovely. Look at that.
Number one girl right here. Proved it again today. One more time. We love Russia. Really, we do.
And the score for Shannon Miller, a 9.937, which means she will get the gold medal here, beating Kochekova, her rival in the all-around. Kochekova got the gold in the all-around, Shannon the silver, but here on the floor, Shannon gets the gold, Kochekova the silver.
The number one girl, again. Excellent, excellent. Okay. That's how you do it. Okay, you guys got to march in for awards. Let's go, okay?
So here are the final results. Shannon Miller, the gold. Dina Kochekova, the silver. Lilia Podkopaeva will get the bronze to go with her gold in the vault competition. Mariana Webster finished 8th. And Horkina, the bronze in the vault. On the bars, Horkina got the gold, Shannon the silver. Kochekova and Piskun share the bronze. Then on the balance beam, Miller wins the gold, Fabrishnova the silver, and a surprise for the U.S., Mariana Webster the bronze. And on the floor, Miller gets the gold and
medals in all for this wonderful U.S. gymnastics women's team. Mariana Webster, you've been in the sport for 8 years, and finally you take home an international medal. Congratulations, and it was a surprise.
Yes, it really meant a lot to me, and I was really happy to represent the U.S. here, and I've been training really hard for this competition, and it felt really good to finally win an international medal.
What do you think that brings to you as far as experience is concerned as you look toward the national championships in the future in 1996?
Well, I think that it kind of made a name for me in the international scene, and I guess let everyone know that I was working, and I'm going to keep on working towards it.
You've given notice, and of course it must help a lot to have your teammate be Shannon Miller, the most outstanding gymnast in the history of the sport. Shannon, you just got stronger and stronger in this competition. 2 silvers and 2 golds tonight. Talk to me about your balance beam routine. You put more difficulty into your mount, and you did use the Miller move, but it wasn't what we usually see.
Well, for competition 3 rules, which was for finals, I had to have more difficulty, so I put in a front mount. And my Miller, I could have done it better, but...
Well, let's talk about the floor exercise, too. You went last. You saw Dina go before you, and I watched your coach, Steve Nuno, talking to you right up to the very end, walking around the podium as you were about to take your start position. What was he saying to you?
Mostly he was telling me that landings count the most, and to stick my landings and to take my full in up.
Congratulations. You feel strong. And one other thing, why do you feel you just got better and better in this competition? Is it really that you're just a competitor, and if there's somebody out there that challenges you, you're just going to respond?
I think partly I like the challenge. I like to rise to the challenge, and I did in this competition, so I feel really good about that. I just wish I would have done this well in the team competition.
Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Shannon Miller, just as this year's World Championships, started a little slow, but by the end, she earned 5 individual medals here in St. Petersburg. So as America's most accomplished gymnast ever, she will add to her already impressive collection of 5 Olympic and 7 World Championship medals, 5 from the Goodwill Games. So in the end, Shannon Miller got what she came for here in Russia, gold at the Goodwill Games.
Well, Nick, Shannon Miller may not have been perfect tonight, but she was awfully close.
Fred, she's arguably the best gymnast the United States has ever produced, and I was just overwhelmed by her performance tonight. 2 gold medals. She did it with spirit and guts and daring, and the thing is, she just loves to win. You can just watch her and know it. And the other thing, she wants to improve. She may skip the Worlds to really prime herself for 1996. I can't wait to see her in Atlanta.
Oh, I can't either. She's going to be awfully tough. Anyway, that takes care of the strictly for women section of gymnastics, but that's not to